Hey, folks. Hey, folks. Welcome. It's Mike Crawford. I am hosting the Grace Curley Show. Welcome to the Grace Curley Show. Happy Friday. We've got a big show today. We've got a couple of attorneys as guests on the show. Howie has a brand new column called Boston's Bad Cop Blues Lands in Court. We may discuss that. Some gang banging going on in the Boston Police Department and a lot of cover-ups on it. They don't want to do anything about it, and we'll definitely probably discuss that today. But right now, we have attorney Gail Sullivan in studio. She just wrote an opinion piece for Mass Lawyers Weekly, and also it was posted up on newslinklive.com. You can check it out there. The unnecessary, unjust incarceration of Officer Fitzsimmons. This is about Kelsey Fitzsimmons, the North Andover police officer who was shot during a HPO being served on her by one of her fellow police officers, and now she's facing charges. Her bail was revoked. The column by attorney Gail Sullivan was all about the bail being revoked. Welcome to the show, attorney Gail Sullivan.
Well, thank you very much, Mike. I'm very grateful to be here. It's an honor to be here, and it's an honor to be able to speak about the matter. It's an important issue for the people of Massachusetts and certainly for Officer Fitzsimmons and her family. It's an important issue for her baby. And we have matters that really should be addressed, and I hope they will be addressed very quickly.
And why did you decide to write this opinion piece and submit it to Mass Lawyers Weekly?
I was very concerned about the situation. Lawyers are supposed to move and act in a way that improves the court system and improves people's lives to the best of their abilities. I have written things in the past. I was just very concerned and upset by the situation. A lot of people were and are. I think it's a great injustice, and it seems readily rectified. It's really too bad. We have a great court system. I know people may be critical at this moment in time, but in totality, our court system is a magnificent court system. I had the honor of standing in front of one of our Supreme Court justices, Ralph Gantz, before he died, and just in an ordinary conversation. It wasn't in court. And I told him at the time that there are times when a lawyer stands in front of a Massachusetts judge when he knows that this is the greatest manifestation of Western civilization as ever can be found. And I really mean that from the heart. Now, that notwithstanding, our judges can make mistakes. I think in this situation, 2 judges did make mistakes, and we'd like to see it speedily rectified. Kelsey Fitzsimmons is particularly vulnerable and in jail. She is not only a police officer, and police officers are always at risk in jail. She's a female police officer. In addition to that, she's a physically wounded female police officer in jail, and she is a psychologically vulnerable person in jail. She has suffered from postpartum depression. That is a recognized psychiatric condition. People do suffer from this, and some women suffer during their pregnancies from hormonal upheavals. It's a biological situation. Justice Louis Brandeis dealt with this matter in the case I cited, and in my article, and it's an important case. It was Muller v. Oregon, and in that situation, he was really addressing the brutal working conditions that the American worker was dealing with at that time in history. He was a great judge. He faced tremendous anti-Semitism when they were appointing him. One of the other judges on the Supreme Court wouldn't even shake his hand, wouldn't take his picture with him. And no one remembers that other judge. No one reads his opinions, but everyone reads Justice Brandeis's. I mean, they were humanistic decisions. He started credit unions, and credit unions were institutions set up to help the working man and working woman, where lower rates of interest would be charged. He was critical of the banking industry, wrote an article called Other People's Money. And he did other good work, the payday lenders. He did, the working man would get his check, he'd get drunk, he was signing loans at high rates of interest. Brandeis capped what you could charge on the small loans. And then he did other things, savings bank, life insurance is the Louis Brandeis invention. He was really trying to help the hardworking, honest citizen who was oppressed by economic circumstances, the people who suffered a great deal during the past. And our working conditions are generally much better now, for sure. Not that the American worker doesn't have to work very, very hard. Many people do. Commuter rail conductors, guys who plow the road at night, and so forth. So we have to recognize these conditions. But he was actually sticking up for women and women during their pregnancies. If you work 60 hours on your feet in a factory for some guy who's paying you peanuts, and he'll pay you when he feels like it, Louis Brandeis was your friend. He was wrestling with all that from his perch as a judge. So he was quite brilliant and made a great moral contribution. So in Massachusetts, when the average lawyer goes into court and he stands before one of our so-called lower court judges, he really gets pragmatic solutions to the situation at hand. The judge is moral, he is compassionate, he's pragmatic, he wants to solve it. He might recommend psychiatric counseling, talk to probation, and usually the judge is very, very deferential to probation. He wants to hear what the probation officer says. He really does want to hear. He knows the probation officer may have had more serious interviews than he's had. He really cares. And in this situation, it seemed as if the judge really didn't want to hear from probation. She really didn't want to hear from Attorney Bradel. And Attorney Bradel was coming in a very conscientious fashion. He was trying to tell the judge, Kathleen McCarthy, Judge, we tried to do the Scram methodology. She gave it great effort, but because she's got broken ribs and a lacerated liver and cut lung, and has had 4 surgeries and needs a 5th, Judge, the blowing into the Scram machine causes her physical pain. It causes her further anxiety. I mean, seriously, what's not to get?
Yeah, the judge seemed offended by Attorney Bradel even raising that point that she was suffering, that she had physical pain. It's funny because I've been in the courtroom for some of these hearings, and I've seen this judge a couple times now, and she has acted kind of out of character, what you would expect, especially being a female judge. I would think a female judge would have some compassion for this woman because she's, like you said, postpartum. Her baby's been taken away. She's having problems breathing into the Scram device. She's got severe lung damage. Severe. Right. It's not like mild. This is severe. This is going to be a lifelong issue for her. And the judge had no compassion at all. The judge was like, she got angry. She got angry at her own probation officer about
this.
Right.
It was injudicious. It was a very bad moment. And it does not reflect what normally happens. That is my statement.
Why do you think this judge, Kathleen, I think I said her right, McCarthy Naaman, Naaman McCarthy,
Naaman.
Why do you think she did that? Like, because I still don't understand why. I can't figure it out. But to think she might be connected to some of these people that are involved. She kept bringing up the other officer who did the shooting. Why do you think she was like that? I can't figure it out. I'm wondering if you have any insight into why this judge acted the way she did, why she got so angry. It was like anger. It was very upset, and then she just revoked her bail when there could have been some other ways to test her for alcohol.
It's inexplicable. And I said in my article that it was inexplicable. I cannot explain it. I will not offer any explanation for it. I know it wasn't right, and it caused me to write my article. It doesn't necessarily make people around here love you, but I'm a great supporter of the court system. I love the courts. I love the law, and that's why I want everything to go well. This case, I wish that the Supreme Judicial Court, which is a historic court, it's a great court. If you read the decisions that come out of the court, they're great decisions. And I wish they would just exercise their inherent powers and just free her from jail now with the orders, just leaving the judge's order in place, but just substituting for it and urine analysis.
With another way to test.
And if the judge felt uncomfortable with letting Kelsey Fitzsimmons go to an independent place where you get your urine tested, have a nurse come in. Because even if a nurse were to come in, it would save the taxpayers of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts plenty of money, because to put somebody in jail costs what we say green money.
Excellent.
And it's a waste of money.
This is attorney Gail Sullivan. She's speaking about an opinion piece she wrote for Mass Lawyers Weekly. It's also up on newslinklive.com. We're going to talk much more about this because there has been an SJC appeal filed on this, the full SJC. You mentioned that a second ago. So we're going to be back with attorney Gail Sullivan, and we're going to talk much more about this Kelsey Fitzsimmons situation. This is Mike Crawford. This is the Grace Curley Show.
This is the Grace Curley Show.
Little Hanson. I love the Hanson. This is Mike Crawford on the Grace Curley Show. We've got a great guest here today, attorney Gail Sullivan. We're speaking about a Mass Lawyers Weekly opinion piece she wrote. We also have the poll question. Today's poll question is brought to you by local Silver Mint, located in Ware, New Hampshire. Silver Dave will work with you directly. Contact him at localsilvermint.com. Taylor, what is today's poll question?
Today's poll question, which you can vote in at gracecurleyshow.com, is: do you think your average elected official cares about you and your family?
Oh, boy. What are the results on that one?
100% say no.
We figured that one. Wow. 100. Do we ever have 100%? Like that's a big number.
Very rarely does it hold past the first hour, so we'll see.
Wow. This may be a record-breaking poll question. You helped us out with this one, attorney Gail Sullivan. It's a good poll question
Yes,
today.
mea culpa, mea maxima culpa. Yes. Yes, it was my suggestion.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of that, because you wrote this, like we said, this opinion piece, kind of critical about what's going on with Kelsey Fitzsimmons. Did you receive any pushback? Are you worried about it? Because I know a lot of the public feels like people who are attorneys like yourself or politicians don't speak out because there's a system there that will punish them if they tell the truth. And your opinion piece was very truthful, I felt. Was there any pushback, and do you expect to have any ramifications on your legal defense work?
No, certainly not. And I don't think it might be. I said something on Brother Counsel's show. I just said making friends and influencing people. And it was just a little aside. I think that, no, I don't anticipate anything like that. But people are concerned. I mean, I listened to an attorney today, Attorney Bianchi from New Jersey. He's a former prosecutor, and he was on another show, I think it's called Justice Served, And he said that he was a former prosecutor, and he used to tell his assistant DAs, you don't have to hit an ant with a sledgehammer or a machine gun, something to that effect. And this is an opportunity, I think, for District Attorney of Essex County, Paul Tucker, I believe is the gentleman's name, to, in the papers that are filed, District Attorney Tucker, people are very hopeful that you will manifest recognition of the moral guidance provided by Justice Louis Brandeis and the public policy of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts provided by Governor Deval Patrick with respect to this matter. You've got wonderful case law, wonderful judges who have helped. Your papers could maybe get in earlier than the full amount of time that you need, and maybe your papers will manifest humanity and pragmatism to satisfy Justice McCarthy Nyman's requirements. All you have to do is have home confinement and urine tests. It's a piece of cake. It's very, very simple, sir. And I'm hoping that your papers would reflect as much. It costs money to put people in jail. It's unnecessary. This woman is very, very vulnerable in jail. Again, she's a police officer. Again, she's a female police officer. And she's a seriously wounded female police officer. There's no reason for her to be in jail. Justice McCarthy Nyman's original orders anticipated and, in fact, called for home arrest. Let's do it. And just use the old-fashioned methodology. I don't know what the scram business is.
Thank you. This is Attorney Gail Sullivan. We're talking about the SJC appeal. We'll come back in a few minutes and talk much more about this. Mike Crawford, Grace Curley Show. Welcome back. Happy Friday. It is Mike Crawford on the Grace Curley Show. We're speaking to an attorney, Gail Sullivan, today. She's in studio about a recent pretrial hearing in Essex Superior Court where the trial court judge basically revoked a police officer's bail because she could not blow into a scram device, an alcohol testing device, because she had so much pain in her ribs, in her lungs, severe damage. She was shot in the chest. This is a mom that recently had a baby with postpartum depression. And I've seen a lot of women upset about this story because it's dealing with postpartum and taking the baby away from the mom. And specifically because her bail was revoked in this way without offering any alternative. The probation department wanted an alternative. The defense attorney wanted an alternative. The district attorney's office at the hearing really didn't seem to object to something, being offered that would be different, like our guest just mentioned a few minutes ago, alternative testing, like urinalysis. But the judge was not having any of it. And since then, it's gone to the Supreme Judicial Court, the SJC in Massachusetts, and it was heard before one of the justices. It was turned down. Now it's going to the full SJC appeal right now. The defense has filed their appeal. They have to wait 10 days for the DA's office to respond. What was surprising to me is the DA's office, who didn't seem to have an issue with it in the hearing that I sat in, then did file a motion, basically they filed their paperwork opposing the appeal, which I was surprised at. I didn't think that they would actually go that way. You're suggesting, Attorney Gail Sullivan, that maybe they should ease up on this. Do you think they will? Do you think Paul Tucker actually will, or the DA's office, or do you think he's going to have a full, try to keep her in jail? What do you think on this?
Well, I think it's very interesting, and you've really identified something, Mike. I think this is an opportunity for the district attorney to demonstrate that the DA wears the the white hat, to quote Attorney Mark Betterow, and that we don't necessarily have to shoot an ant with a machine gun. We have the least restrictive alternative, which is required constitutionally, is just house arrest and urine, nurse coming in to test the urine. I mean, the nurse can file an affidavit that she personally witnessed the woman urinate if it's necessary. I mean, if you really want that kind of paranoid scrutiny, and it's okay. And just get her there. She won't be exposed to the germs and the danger of jail. There's also the psychological situation where a woman with the postpartum depression who's just had her baby ripped out of her arms, and now she's in solitary confinement. It's almost like something they do in the Soviet Union. I mean, this is madness, and we hope that it ends quickly. So the DA can play an important role here. We are hoping that he won't just back up the local judge, notwithstanding the fact that his people appear in front of her a lot. We're hoping that he acts in the interest of all humankind in this thing and follows the wise moral guidance provided by the courts in many decisions and in Justice Brandeis's decision. He can do it, and I know he can do it if he thinks about it, and I'm hopeful that he won't just engage in a knee-jerk reaction backing the local judge in front of whom his assistants appear. This is a chance for him to exercise real statesmanship and the moral values of our court system and our society. Governor Patrick was signed that anti-shackling legislation. Massachusetts has grappled with circumstances like this. Our court system is very humane. I'm hoping that Mr. Tucker moves quickly. He files a good brief, and a brief that's a little different than a knee-jerk response.
Do you think they recognize that the integrity of the courts is kind of at stake with the public here? Because we were talking off mic about somebody that's been accused of murder. One, Miles King. He's out on $50,000 bail because of the missteps in Norfolk County with the DA's office and specifically Michael Proctor. That guy allegedly did a murder right in front of someone's mother's house, and he's out on bail.
Right.
And this woman, Kelsey Fitzsimmons, didn't shoot anybody. In the end, she didn't harm anybody, and she's in jail with no bail. It seems like it's unequal treatment, it seems like, in the state where it's based on who you are, and it's just very strange in this case that she's the one sitting in jail, and Miles King is out, running around gangbanging with his friends.
The Miles King thing is the result of D.A. Morrissey's inattention to the very serious case that he should have been focusing all his resources and all his attention on that case and not on the Karen Reed case. I mean, in my view, with the ridiculous experts and the money he spent, and the legislature is at fault for funding his activities, in my view. So I'm critical of the Massachusetts legislature, and the power in our legislature is in the leadership. Your average state rep and state senator doesn't have any power. This is a Ron Mariano, Karen Spilka era, in my view. And now that I'm making friends and influencing people, let me say that they're both at fault in that regard. No, there's the Miles King out on bail, and this woman, this person who can't even run down the street. It's crazy. I mean, it's not appropriate. The man in the street, the commuter rail conductor, knows it. The nurse at the Mass General knows it. Your waitress knows it. Everybody is very concerned about this. So there are moments when things appear. Sometimes things appear the way they aren't. I mean, again, the average judge in the Dorchester District Court would have handled this matter so courteously, so efficiently. He would have listened carefully and kindly to the probation officer. He would have treated Officer Fitzsimmons with great gentility and courtesy. So this is really not an accurate picture of the court system. In my opinion, I've practiced for many, many years, 48 years. I'm an old lady. So, no, I'm sad about it. The reason, we can't expect perfection from the court system. That would be, we don't want the United States of America to be like Russia or like Haiti or like China. So we have institutions that our fathers and our brothers have fought and died for. And yes, some of our sisters and our mothers. So we want to preserve our institutions. You don't want to throw the baby out with the bathwater, as they say, but we want to reform circumstances. Now, I'm hoping maybe the DA, Paul Tucker, maybe his assistants have taken a certain path on their filing of their papers. Maybe he will have some statesman-like input and not insist on incarceration. I'm hoping that might be his tact. You never know.
Now, Kelsey Fitzsimmons has a lot of support online. She's got a big Facebook group. Is there anything that you think the public can do, that her supporters can do, to kind of influence Paul Tucker? Or is that something that's going to fall on deaf ears or even possibly hurt her? Like even a standout or a protest or emailing, phone calls, does that help at all or not, do you think?
In all fairness, I think the DA is a politician, and and it's perfectly proper to show a politician what you think. So if you politely protest and lawfully protest, I think he would want to listen. You don't want to be thrown out the way Mr. Morrissey is about to be thrown out, and we have no reason to think you would be. Politicians will probably resent, I don't respond to a stand. Okay, you don't. But you've got to please listen, because these people are not wicked people. This is not a witch hunt. This is people who see the folly of these circumstances. Louis Brandeis said that sunlight was the best disinfectant. So, we need sunlight. Some people say the judge should be investigated by the Judicial Conduct Commission. I'm not going to say that per se, but I am going to say I hope that there is corrective action, and maybe right with the DA, right there. Let's start there.
I hope so. I hope this DA, Paul Tucker, does the right thing on this one. It wouldn't be difficult. All he has to do is say, you know what, let's do a urinalysis. Let's let this woman out for Christmas.
If well before Christmas. He could effectuate the judge's original orders. Simply, she can get the house arrest that she ordered, and she can get the alcohol testing. Attorney Bradel suggests that alcohol is not an issue, but let's assume arguendo, viewing things in the light most favorable to the motion judge. Let's assume that it is. Let's test for it anyway. Fine, no problem.
Sure. The thing is, she did pass all the tests that she was required to take. It was painful for her. That was the real issue, is that she was in pain. She passed all the tests. She obviously wasn't drinking when she was out. I don't think it's an issue for her. It would be one thing if she had failed tests and they, came up positive, then would obviously be an issue. But she clearly was not drinking when she was out on bail. So
this is a no-brainer, Mike. It's a no-brainer.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's hope this judge does, this DA, actually. It's out of the judge's hands at this point. Let's hope the DA does the right thing. I hope Paul Tucker listens to all the women in his life, because I think a lot of women are up in arms about this.
And some men, too.
Yeah.
There are men who are horrified
I am.
in my community, and just regular guys, and they say, gee, this is stupid. And it's true. We do have some people who are violent criminals, allegedly, out, and we have this very vulnerable individual in. And
that's the thing. I'm not worried about Kelsey Fitzsimmons being out. I'm not worried about her going after that officer. No. What I'm worried about is Miles King. Miles King, the guy who's out on murder, he's scary. Like that is, I can't believe he's out and she's not. That just doesn't make any sense to me. She didn't shoot anybody. You know, there was no harm done here. It's a he said, she said. Body cameras don't exist in North Andover, so we really don't even know what actually happened.
Right. There may be facts and circumstances that about which I do not know and you don't know. And I suppose now is the time for the DA to bring them out if he's got them. But whatever they may be, he's also got a chance to effectuate a pragmatic set of recommendations or requests to the court that would effectuate Judge McCarthy Nyman's original requests.
Awesome. We're speaking to attorney Gail Sullivan about her opinion piece she wrote from Mass Lawyers Weekly. We are going to take a quick break and come back with her one more time here to finish off the discussion. This is Mike Crawford. This is the Grace Curley Show.
This is the Grace Curley Show.
Welcome back, Grace Curley Show. This is Mike Crawford. We're with attorney Gail Sullivan. She wrote an opinion piece for Mass Lawyers Weekly. It's also up on newslinklive.com if you want to read it. It's about the situation with the Scram device and Kelsey Fitzsimmons, who's now in jail, her bail revoked because she had too much pain breathing into this device to test for alcohol when she wasn't drinking. It seems really unusual. A lot of us noticed it with the way this judge was acting in court and how aggressive she got with her own probation department and attorney Tim Bradel. The question now is what should happen? Because this is the final kind of comment that we're going to make today on this. Attorney Gail Sullivan, what do you think should happen and why? Why should it happen here regarding her bail?
Okay, my hope would be that the DA files reasonable response papers. My hope is that the court takes up the matter very, very quickly. I think they can and will. The oral arguments would be great. I hope they rule on the papers, and I hope she's out very soon. My request that they exercise their inherent authority that's pretty aggressive. They might not do that. I don't think that they will criticize Judge McCarthy Nyman. No one's asking for that. No one cares. I mean, it's not they'll go out of their way not to criticize her. The one thing you can be certain, they'll never mention the zip drive that has been provided to them. They won't mention it, I don't think. But they can handle this quickly. There's brilliant judges focus on a remedy. The remedy is the urine analysis and the home confinement. Everybody needs to go to the psychiatrist. I mean, the former boyfriend, Kelsey, everybody gets healed. I don't think she needs a speedy trial right away. Mr. Bradel has to do discovery. There have already been discrepancies in the police officer's presentations. He said that there was a door. She came out from behind a door. There's no door upstairs. So, let this matter be resolved. But I think it can be resolved quickly. I'm hoping for speed. It's really a no-brainer situation. You don't have to be a rocket scientist to figure this one out.
Do you think the SJC puts any stock or even looks at the fact that she wasn't indicted on the most serious charges that the DA's office brought against her?
The SJC looks at everything. These are very, very brilliant, conscientious people. They don't miss anything.
And there's one real quick. Bradel is not going to file a response once the DA's office files. Do you take any stock in that?
Listen, he's a very capable guy. He must feel confident. He's totally conscientious. His client was denied due process.
Thank you, Attorney Gail Sullivan. This is Mike Crawford. This is the Grace Curley Show.
Stack it up. Stack it